Hi, my name is Emmanuel Godin, and I'm here to present you different ways of testing business processes. If you have any questions during the presentation, please use the live chat and feel free to ask whatever comes to your mind. First, let me tell you how we ended here. We have a strong technical expertise in executable models and especially on how to verify them. Because of that, we were contacted by Eurocontrol, the agency that defines how the air traffic control is handled in Europe. And they have been working on a pan-European approach called Caesar, not the Roman emperor, but starting with an S. And they were looking for a way to test their model. The notation they use is the most popular one to describe business processes. It's called the BPMN, and it stands for Business Process Model and Notation. This notation is not only used to describe complex organizations, but it is also used to describe technical systems and a system of systems. It appeared this notation is used by a lot of organizations, and it turned out they all had a testing issue with their models. So we put together an applied research project called VeriMob, verification of model BPMN, French, which was aiming at verifying BPMN models. The project was accepted and funded by the French Army. The partners of this project came with their own use cases that were quite different from each other. The DGA, the French Army, came with a close air support model that defines the procedure that might lead airplanes to shoot missiles on a battleground. Needless to say how critical that is. The DGA also brought a maritime law enforcement model that defines how to proceed when a ship is in distress at sea. The other partner, Airbus Defence and Space, brought models describing technical principles of complex systems such as EGNOS, which is an enhancement of the GPS that can improve GPS for safety critical applications. And the last one, Eurocontrol, the initial case, came with a model of airport performance planning and monitoring to be used in future systems. Now, let's talk about BPMN. BPMN stands for Business Process Model Annotation and is standardized by the OMG, Object Management Group. As we saw before, in the different use cases, it can target a wide variety of profiles, such as business analysts, technical developers, enterprise architecture, and so on and so on and so on. In BPMN, a process is a graph of flow elements. It has first activities, things that should be done. So either it's a person that has to do the activity, but it can be a machine or a software or anything. The participant in BPMN is, let's say, a virtual participant. It can be a machine. So in that case, it's someone ordering a pizza. So it's obviously a person. So the different activities are order a pizza, pay the pizza, eat the pizza, and so on. And these are activities. You have events. So that you have the, I don't know if you can see my mouse. I guess you can. So on the left, you have the hungry starting event. And at the end, you have the satisfied ending event. And in the middle, you are here waiting for a message, and the message is the pizza actually. when you receive the pizza, or you have a timer, and when the timer goes off, it's that kind of representation you use. So all these are events. Then you have gateways. So that's this square rotated a little. And this one says that when you get here, there must be an event to get you out of that position in the process. So here you either receive the pizza or the timer goes off, which, as you can see, is not that difficult to read. And now, in the end, everything is connected with sequence flows. So they are just plain arrows going from one activity to another, or one activity to an event. You also have messages with dashed arrows when you have participants discussing with each other, but we will see, I think, an example later on. So if we look at this very simple process and go through it very quickly, first, the participant is hungry. So what it does is order a pizza. So it doesn't have to be more precise in the business process, or you can be more detailed. But in that case, it can be ordering a pizza on the phone, on the internet, or maybe at a counter. It doesn't specify. So it orders a pizza, and then it waits for the pizza. So either the pizza is received, and then you can go on, or you don't have anything after 60 minutes, which is quite long for a pizza, I guess. And then you loop back and wait, you complain, and then come back to waiting for the pizza. So let's say you receive the pizza, you pay the pizza, you eat the pizza, and you're satisfied. That's how simple life is, isn't it? So that's like a basic, very basic example of a business process. Now that we have a better understanding of what a BPMN model is, let's see what can be done to test it. Well, first, a tool can easily check the static consistency of the model. Are the participants consistent at the different levels? Because you can have different levels of processes. Are the activities, when they are sub-defined, they are called cold activities? Are they properly defined? If you send a message, is it properly received by another participant, and so on? And that's very interesting, because if you have a complex organization or complex systems, maybe it's not the same people who wrote the different part of the business process. So when you put everything together, and that's the main issue, when you put everything together, you have static inconsistencies. It's like, the interfaces don't match. And that's very easy for a tool to verify, actually. And this was not available at all on the market or as an open source software. So this was one of the things in the project we did. And actually, the standard defined a set of static rules to be verified so that the model is correct. And that's what it does. Once you have verified things statically, well, you can work on the dynamic of the system. And the dynamic is quite precisely standardized. So, for example, it says that the model must start with a proper start symbol or an incoming message. So here you see on the upper part that's a start symbol. But when you order a pizza, it sends a message to the vendor, the pizza vendor, and that's a starting event here. So it's a start symbol on incoming message to start the model. Then you have sequence flows that can get to an activity. And when you get to an activity, if there's an incoming message, no, you don't have any here, but if you have an incoming message, to trigger the activity, you have to wait for the incoming message as well as the sequence flow. So that this is kind of semantic you need. And also, when you have gateways, you can have several flows in parallel. So you have different things going at the same time. So here in that example, you have a flow going here waiting for the pizza, and another flow going here in the pizza vendor. But within a participant, you can also have several flows, so that makes it quite tricky to follow up. And there's a very often a misunderstanding of what that means when executing the model, and that's where we developed a tool to follow up exactly step by step what is happening. So what the tool does is that it allows the user to step only where it is possible to step following the BPMN semantic, so that you're sure there's no misunderstanding or no implicit understanding of the model. It really follows the BPMN rules, and the computer doesn't know what you're doing, really. Only you understand the meaning of that. So you can do that manually. You can it shows you how you can click here and then click there. So as you can see here, it's blue. That means you can click here on that in this participant, or here in this participant. And the green ones are the ones that have already been executed. And the other ones, the black ones, are the ones that have not been executed yet. So you can do that manually. And while you do that manually, while you're following a scenario, obviously, and to verify that this is the test scenario is correct. So you can trace the execution here with an MSC. And the MSC can be used for documenting the test itself, or it can be reused to automatically execute the scenario. So that also means that you could use this, an MSC as an input directly. It could be also a way. But the thing is, what we have seen so far is that the people modeling using the BPMN, the model, they don't execute it. They're not that interested in it. So as a tester, you can come in and say, okay, now I'm going to verify your model. So I'm going to take it and execute it step by step, following some, probably documentation on how the system is supposed to work, and verify it is correct, and document the different scenarios, be able to replay it. And also you have the coverage information of the model while you are executing. So that was like running a single scenario at a time, okay? We also have another thing we have developed with Insta Botag, which was a partner in the project. And Insta brought an interesting exploration engine, which in interaction with our executor automatically explores all possible scenarios of the model. And please note, the semantic here is the one from our executor here, and it is conform to the standard. I'm saying that because very often these exploration tools, they come with their own notation or semantic, and it's usually not the one of the model you're working on. So here, the interesting thing is that they rely on our executor. So it is correct by construction. So what it does is that, it tries all possible paths. So if you have, as we saw in the example before, if you have two possible ways to go, it will try one before the other, or the other before the first one, and so on, and try all possible solutions. And so, but what do we get in the end, if we do that? Well, first you can extract the total number of possible paths in the process. And if the number is very high, there are probably unwanted path in the model, and probably too many things going on in parallel, creating too many alternative execution going on. And with the use cases we had during the project, it turned out this happened several times. You can end up with like 9,000 or 10,000 possible paths on one diagram, where actually when you correct it, it goes down to 30. So it's a good indicator on how complex is the model. Well, sometimes models are complex, but usually you try to keep it simple, especially at that level. Now, since the automatic exploration tries all possible ways, if some paths are left uncovered, it means they are unreachable. Because the tool tries all possible paths. So if they never got there, well, I'm sorry, but it's useless. So it's either useless or incorrect. And last but not least, the exploration tool can verify properties on the model. So a property is a small piece of scenario that is always true or should never happen. And you can see it on a positive way or negative way. If, for example, an event occurs, then this other event should always happen or never occur. But it is usually always true. So typically security and safety are nicely expressed with the properties. So in the tool, we developed, with Ensta Bretagne, because it's their tool verifying the property. The property can be graphically expressed with a PSC, a property sequence chart, like the one you see here. So it's like an MSC with little prefixes. And in this very basic example here, the PSC states that if the request message is ever sent from client to server, then the server should always reply by an answer message. So that's very, of course, very, very simple. We can do very complex things there. And the tool will verify the properties. It's always true or never happened in any situation. If it meets the situation, it will create the scenario that led to this situation so that you can correct it. Okay, so as a conclusion, we saw different testing approaches of a business process written in a BPMN. You can have a static testing based on the standard rules, dynamic testing with step-by-step interactions, or as I said, you can replace scenarios or input scenarios and run them automatically, and also automatic exploration with full exploration of all possible paths and verify default rules such as deadlocks, unreachable path, or user-defined properties that usually are safety or safety properties expect on the system. So I hope I was clear enough. And would you have any questions? Well, please use the chat, as I said at the beginning, or you can drop me an email at this address. Okay, thank you.